and a fruitful conversation presentation, I hope, because we will discuss something that is that concerns us all, and it will be good to revise some of the resources that we can engage in this difficult time. So to be able to restore our mind and our body, and to be able to not just to be in the survive mode. Perhaps we have been used to that a bit too long in the last year, but also to experience a bit of well-being and of thriving and of reconnecting again with our desire to feel more joy, to feel a bit more secure, to feel more the need to learn. So in our first session, we will focus on these aspects, and we will try to understand very briefly what is the process of stress, without entering into too much detail, but just a bit to understand what is happening in our mind, in our body, and what stimuli are the most challenging aspects for us. And then we will focus on three big parts that will help us understand better our relationship with ourselves, first of all, and our relationship with the environment. We will focus on a very important part, which is recovery, how we restore our energy and our balance after we invested in our energy in solving problems or in dealing with stress, because sometimes you need energy when you experience uncertainty and ambiguity. Sometimes you don't need to solve anything, but you just need to be in the moment and to stay sane and to take care of yourself and the others. So we will point out how recovery works, why is it important, and what can we do specifically from micro breaks. What can you do even in a hectic day? What can you do in 30 seconds? What can you do in 5 to 10 minutes to clear your mind and be in contact with yourself? And also what you can do in holidays in order to maximize the impact of such a longed for period. Because as we will see, even if we wait very much and we long for vacations, their effect does not last for long, and we will see exactly what research says. So this is just a small indication that in order to feel well with ourselves, we don't need to put all our eggs in one basket. So we don't have to wait it all year just to go at once in a year or twice in a year in holidays. So we need to be a bit active regarding our recovery process. So this is just a sneak peek in the topic. Also, we will discuss about work life, personal life, which is for a long time we discussed about work life balance and how do we keep how do we see this as an achievement. So we have an accomplishment if we are in balance. Where, well, we have found out, all of us, I think, that in this period, this is a cycle, the work and the life, and it's we needed to find different ways to integrate it and to feel better in a situation where boundaries are not clear, where children are roaming around us when we have Zoom calls. So this is a bit of a new perspective here that we will try to understand what really works in this period, and how can we adjust even after the danger is over. And as Christiane said earlier, sometimes we have periods when we experience joy or we experience the freedom, but when we don't do it responsibly and we rush into it's like we want to press a button, and now I want to feel joy, now I want to feel balance, now I want to feel freedom. We put ourselves into a greater risk. So that is why we kind of need to pace ourselves and find joy even in the hardest time. This is kind of the thing that it's not easy, but it's not impossible, but it's safe. It's safe, and it can bring you a little bit of balance and joy every day. And also we will discuss about good habits, because all the things are nice, the strategies, some of them you will find them very familiar, but the idea is that everything works if you make it a habit. And the point is, the key is to find a habit that you like, that you do it with pleasure, and that you allow yourself to do things regularly, because this is how things work. As I said before, if you have one amazing vacation in a year, but in every day you push yourself very hard, then we are not really in the balance zone. So this is probably an image that is familiar to you, not necessarily the city here, but the idea that nowadays we have a busy lifestyle. Everything is volatile, is uncertain, is complex, is ambiguity. So also we have an increased competition in our workplace or between the organizations. We feel as employees and as persons that we need to rush into things. We need to compete. We need to struggle a bit too much, perhaps in some occasions. Also, we have fear of missing out. We are bombarded with information. We want to assimilate. We want to know. Sometimes we need to know information for our own safety. Sometimes we want to know information in order to grow, to learn. But this there is a very fine line between wanting to learn and to grow intellectually and emotionally, and wanting to read or to analyze information out of fear. Yeah, when you do it out of fear, it's not pleasurable anymore. It doesn't really help you to grow that much. Also, we don't have a very good perspective as regards sleep. We have here that an information that in 2013, a typical American slept less than 7 hours per night, whereas in 1842 the mean was 8 hours, almost 8 hours per night, and 84% slept enough. And sleeping is a serious issue, and sometimes we think that we will recover and we will sleep in the weekend, and this will just help us recover the sleep that we missed. But this this doesn't recover, first of all, and can even put us in a jet lag sensation, because we want to recuperate something that it's not possible in that formula. Also, we have continuous access to information. We process in a few minutes information that years ago we processed in a day. So it's good that we have information, obviously, but it's also a bit of a trap here in selecting information and choosing information that really helps and secure us, and the other information that is not really relevant for what we want to do. So if we look at the bigger picture, we see that in this in 2020, the level of resilience was quite low, especially for females and for persons between the age group 35-49. So the level was quite high, and it increased from April to July, and of course for unemployed people. But also we see that basically for all categories things are not very encouraging. So this is something that it's useful to know for ourselves when we place ourselves in one of these categories, but also when we work with people, who are females, who are between these age categories or have a lower level of education. We know that they might feel more vulnerable and less resilient in this time. So this helps us communicate and collaborate in a more considerate ways. This is also the way we feel at the country level. We see here that Lithuania, France, Portugal, and Spain are occupying the first places, and Germany, Denmark, and Netherlands are a bit less emotionally drained, as according to statistics in 2020. And we also need to know this information when we consider country levels, or when we consider how everybody is feeling. So then we move to the individual picture. Did you feel lately tired or unable to disconnect, or having trouble with sleeping, or irritated? Did it happen to you lately, perhaps more than other times? Perhaps for some of you this happened at least once or twice. These are symptoms of our stress, and we can feel stress in the moment when things are happening in a day, or we might also reach to feel chronic stress when things are accumulating, and we things are going in a like a snowball. When, for example, you have trouble sleeping, then the next day it's very difficult for you to concentrate, then you drag on doing the tasks at work, and then you feel stressed because you are not able to finish and to accomplish your work, and you enter into a circle which is drains your energy and your personal resources. Also, we experience that. Basically, why do we feel stress? We feel stress when we perceive that what is in front of us, when the type of tasks that we have, the cognitive demands, the things that we need to do are bigger than our resources. And sometimes this is true. Sometimes the tasks are really difficult or really need to be done in a very short amount of time. But sometimes it is our perception. We perceive that we do not have enough knowledge, or we do not have enough strength to do this. And then it is always good to have a very clear analysis in order to have a correct perception, because sometimes stress is caused by an incorrect perception. So it's not that we do not have those resources, but we do not see them clearly. But it's not an easy job to have a very cognitive process, a very clear cognitive process when you are stressed, right? So this is a bit of a challenge in how we look at these unbalanced aspects. So basically when the brain, when we perceive a stimuli, which in the past was a tiger or was a big animal, now we can perceive traffic. We can perceive the fact that the cars are not moving, or the people are not moving, that we are going to be late, that we are not going to do our job today well. We enter the amygdala, sends signal to our body and our glands and our heart. The blood starts pumping. The pupils are dilated. The adrenaline is secreted, because we are in a mood where we are ready to do things. And this is a normal process. It becomes tiresome when we keep pushing the acceleration pedal, and we are not that do not know when to stop, or when we push it too hard, and this excitement, the tension that we feel in the body is a bit too high for what is needed for us to solve the problem. So sometimes we need to learn better when to hit the acceleration pedal and when to hit the brake, the brake, so the parasympathetic system. So besides neuropsychology, it is a very interesting term which is called languishing, which is called, the author calls it the middle child between well-being and ill-being. Yeah, well-being and depression. It is that state when you don't feel unwell, but you don't feel well as well. So you just stay, you languish, you feel, you have a sense of stagnation and emptiness. And this is not very pleasant. Sometimes it's not that unpleasant, so it stimulates you to go to action, but it puts you into a stage that, if prolonged, it can really affect your well-being. And sometimes you do things like what the author says, revenge bedtime procrastination. Do you know what that is? Or do you have an idea what that might mean? It means that, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, it's mean when you prolong, when you leave something without doing it in the time.
Yeah, it's like when you had a busy day, you were very frustrated, you didn't have time to read a page that you like or an article, or you didn't have time to connect with your friends. And then when you go to bed, instead of reading a book or meditate or do something that really helps you do that very nice sleep that sometimes we miss, you start browsing the Facebook or whatever, or to not necessarily doing something that is meaningful or really helps you, or really um, uh, uh, helps you to connect with yourself, but it's something that you do to recuperate what you didn't do in a normal day. And this is sometimes can be satisfying, because you say, oh, but I stayed up until 2 o'clock because I needed to, I really wanted to watch a movie, because I didn't have time in the past week, or in the past days to reconnect. And it doesn't matter that I didn't sleep, because I really needed time for myself, or to take my mind out of it. And sometimes it's satisfactory. If you do it once, it's okay. But if you do it in several times, it really affects basic habits and basic needs, like sleep. You cannot replace sleep, you cannot replace physical movement, you cannot replace what you eat. So if we see ourselves doing that, it's good to take notice that, and to try to be a bit more attentive to our real needs. So what do I need? What is my need? Do I want to have a moment in a day where I read something that gives me pleasure, or where I learn just a bit of something that helped me grow? If these are my real need, it's better to find 10 minutes or 15 minutes during the day, so I don't do it as a revenge. It is a very interesting article, so I also leave you the link to the things I mentioned here, because good insights might come out of this. So now that we know this, the questions are, okay, how can we restore balance? How can we do it easily? Because we do not want another task. We do not want a difficult objective to accomplish. We don't want our dealing with stress and our road to well-being to be something that drains us of energy, or something that is something difficult, or something that we need to put a lot of effort in with. So we need to find out how can we do it efficiently, but also in a way that brings us joy, and it's kind of easy to assimilate in the way our life is at the moment. Yeah, not to project a very nice plan that we will implement when everything is perfect in the world, because this will never happen. And also, can we do it constantly? Because if we do it once in a while, it will not work as we like. So um, before moving forward, I would invite you, if you like, to connect to the link here. Perhaps I can put it in the chat. Um, if I can. Okay, this is a platform very easy to reach. You can connect it via internet, or sorry, of course, via internet, by your computer. Uh, I just paused a bit because I realized that I didn't present myself nor my colleagues, so perhaps this is a good place to start almost in the middle of presentation. But well, sometimes it happens. I'm Coralia Sulea from the West University of Timișoara, and we prepared this presentation together with my colleague Patricia Albulescu. She's also in the meeting. So please join here, and also you have a code. It is a very nice platform, and I will share your responses. Just enter them. They should appear very easily in your on your phones or your laptops. and you should find the question, the first question. Mhm. Okay, so we have some. We want to learn about stress relieving techniques, how to manage post-COVID anxiety, how to deal with languishing, very important, and tools to react on stress. So we will focus further on this idea, and we will discuss on several categories. So the idea is for you to listen and to reflect mm, what is more relevant for you, what do you think will be more easy to implement, and what will it be more pleasurable as well to implement. And I will also invite you to interrupt me as in at every point. This is not the problem. I would like very much to hear your voice and your perspective, so please do that as much as you can and you feel like it, of course. Okay, so the first idea is that stress needs to be um, mm, accompanied by recovery. What does that mean? That when we need to solve a problem, our organism and our mind enters into that alert state that we discussed about, sometimes perhaps a bit higher than we want, but sometimes we manage to find the right level to do that, and we reach a level of peak stress which consumes our resources, our energy, our cognitive capacities, our resilience, our resources. And then obviously logically we need a time to recuperate them, and if we wait a long time, then the recuperation is very difficult to do. So the idea is how to sometimes we can avoid stress, but sometimes we can't. And once we enter into a stress mode, we need to find out, okay, how do we restore our energy? Because this is the process that it is about, to restore or to fill the used resources in professional activities like physical energy or attention. Why is this important? Because it plays a crucial role, demonstrated by a lot of research in the area, that it's very relevant and crucial for our well-being, psychological and somatical, so physical well-being, and also it is relevant for our performance, because we cannot be performant at work or in other areas of our life if we are not well, yeah, if we are exhausted. So the question is, how do we do this? But first of all, it is important to be aware that it is the useful way to recover is to do it, to try to refill the resources as soon as they are consumed. Yeah, not wait too long, and not to run on an empty tank with your car, so to say. And the good news is that this is not that difficult as it sounds in the first place, because we have some ideas and some techniques that we really can use in a very short amount of time. But first of all, I would like you to help you understand the process. How does it work? So these are just a model. They matter just to bring heaviness, so to say, to our discussion. So to know that the ideas, the practical ideas that we discussed, are really fundamented by research. So it's not just things that people say, but really are things that are tested. So basically, the effort recovery model really discussed what I just explained, so I will not repeat it. And also we have a very interesting theory, which is called the conservation of resources theory, which basically underlines a very simple idea that we like resources, obviously, but we dislike when the resources are gone, when we lose money, when we lose friends, when we lose social support, when we lose freedom, when we lose certainty, and not only when we lose them per se, but also when we feel that our resources are threatened. So this is when resources are threatened, we enter into a state of stress, because our interest and our reaction and natural body and brain reaction is to hold on to the resources that we have. It is more important for us to keep the resources that we have than to acquire new resources. Yeah, sometimes we want that, is important, but it is more important not to lose what we have, because then we become very stressful. Stressed. What is important about resources is that sometimes they form caravans. For example, take social support, which is a very relevant resource. We like social support. We need it in our life and in our work. Why? Because it addresses one of our one important basic psychological need, which is the need to relate, the need to make connections with other people. But moreover, when we connect in a healthy way with our colleagues, and when we share information, and when we share support and guidance, this brings along different resources. We get more informed, we get access perhaps to new projects, we have a more effective meeting. So these are the caravans of resources. And in our work, it is very in our workplace, very important to reflect what kind of resources, if we grow them and we practice them, because they do not fall out of the sky. We need to work on them sometimes a bit more than we like. They don't always come natural. What kind of resources are worth invested in, so they draw with them other type of resources. Good. Then another perspective is related to nature. No surprise here, right? Because we have what is called, on one part, stress reduction theory. Because it is very simple. When you are stressed, it is always good to focus on nature, to look at the nature, to walk in a park, to play with animals, to take care of your garden, because we are naturally adapted to this kind of environment. So this really helps us move from the sympathetic system to the parasympathetic system, to move from the acceleration to brake, and to collect ourselves. Moreover, nature has this property of or this quality of awe, if I pronounce it very well, to be fascinated by nature. Yeah, and when you are fascinated by something, you are relaxed. You are in contact with yourself and what you're perceiving. And it simply brings joy at the basic level. So it's nothing complex. It's nothing very complicated to process. You're just exposed to nature, and this really helps you. And we will see in other types of techniques that sometimes it really helps when you work to gaze at the window for 30 seconds if you have a plant outside, or if you have a plant near your computer. It really helps to do this, yeah, because sometimes you cannot have a 1 hour walk in a beautiful park in the middle of the day. So we should not aim for this kind of fascination on a daily basis. We can do this in vacation, in weekends, but for 30 seconds, I can look outside and see the trees, how they are have rainy drops on them, and just look at them without thinking of anything, or look at the plant if I don't have it outside, because it really works. And I always have 30 seconds, even when things are very busy at work. I just need to train myself to do this, to allow myself to integrate this into my habits, because they work. And also, when we look at the nature, we are not that focus. We do not try to understand what is happening, like when we are trying to cross a road, yeah, when we want to see at the traffic light, is it green, is it red, are cars coming from the left side or the right side, should we need to cross, do we have to listen to the noisy signals. So a lot of processing we have to do, even for basic things like crossing a road, yeah. But when we look at the nature, we are not that focused. It's panoramic, yeah. It's we are surrounded. We are not just viewing things, but we listen to the sounds, and we have a different type of smell. We smell the nature. So the focus here is on diffuse visualization. Yeah, you let yourself perceive what surrounds you. You do not focus on something very, very specific, which helps you relax. Yeah. So, and if we, as I said, all these ideas are backed with research. For example, in 2016, Collie and colleagues showed that when we are at work and take the breaks in the nature, as employees, we feel more mentally and physically detached from work tasks, more energy, and could reflect quietly at the problems over the day. Because in order to be efficient at work, you don't have to be plugged in all the time. You need to disconnect. Sometimes it's useful to do it for 30 seconds, but sometimes during lunch break, for example, you need to do it for half an hour at least, or an hour ideally. In some legislations, for example, in Romania, and I'm sure in other countries as well, you have a compulsory 1 hour break for lunch. And it depends, of course, on yourself and on the organizational culture, how you do this, how you take your lunch. Do you really take it, or are you really eating your sandwich above the keyboard? So the point is that if we want to be efficient at work, even when we are very busy, if we disconnect, if we allow ourselves to disconnect, and even if sometimes we are our main stoppers, so to say, because when we feel that we are busy, it seems that I don't have time, I really have to solve this. But the point is that if you disconnect, you are more efficient, because you restore your energy, your attention, which is crucial in doing a good job, not just finishing something, but really accomplishing it. We discussed a bit earlier about support and how important it is at work, and perhaps this is something that we missed during this time, or sometimes we didn't manage to find the best ways to connect with ourselves via online meetings. But the idea is that we really should prioritize this in our work environment, because when we lack support from our colleagues and from the organization itself, it becomes difficult for employees to disconnect even in the free time. So it really interferes. The lack of feeling, the way we feel alone or less supported at work affects our restoring strategies in our free time and at home, which of course fires back again at the office. So one message is that we can take by now is, let's find better ways to support ourselves at work, especially in COVID times, but even in other situations as well. This is a resource that helps, that collects other resources as well and helps build those resource caravans, but also helps restore your energy if you have it, and helps you feel better in your personal life as well. And what we do not want, and what we most of us hate, is ruminating. Did it happen to you to just to ruminate and to have a problem and to have thoughts that do not go anywhere, they do not go outside, they do not place themselves right in your mind, but they just, it's like a fly. Yeah, they just go in your head, drain more your energy, stress you more, because when you ruminate, you do not solve problem, you just look around it and press hurtful buttons sometimes. So when we do this, we need to first of all be aware, what am I doing? Am I ruminating? Okay, good. Can I stop? Can I detach and really, when I close the laptop, can I psychologically detach from my work? If I can, brilliant. Then I'm a very balanced person today, and I can go from work to detachment. But perhaps in other days we cannot do that, and that it's okay. First step is to understand: am I ruminating or am I trying to solve a problem? Because if I'm ruminating, okay, then it's I wish I could detach, but I can't. So I will not punish myself for that. I will allow perhaps an extra half an hour after work, but I will deal with what bothers me in a mindful way. I will put it off paper if necessary, or I will call a friend, or I will do something that really helps me solve the problem. Because if I just let things ruminate, I will not solve the problem, I will interfere with my personal life, and I will be even more drained of energy. So first step is to acknowledge it and to give it the right time. Uh, and what is if we come back to the idea that it's important to recuperate energy as it is consumed, we will look at a very efficient and very applied avenue of research, which is called microbreaks. Patricia, my colleague, is doing her PhD on efficient microbreak, and these main points are taken from a working paper that she's coordinating, a meta-analysis. It is more complex than this slide, obviously, but I just pointed out what she emphasized as being very useful for three outcomes. We need breaks. We need to restore our energy for boosting our energy. We need breaks to restore, to prevent fatigue, but also to stimulate performance. So what works generally are several things that, if we do it for 10 to 5 minutes, not more, really helps us accomplish these well-being objectives, if you want to say that. For example, it helps us to watch a video which is explanatory. For example, you can watch a 5 TED minute talk which explains you something about the nature or something about science or whatever interests you. Also, it helps to look at something meaningful or to watch something that is related to nature or animals. So this helps you restore a bit of your energy. It is not something new, the fact that meditating helps us restore our energy. It is the challenge more is to allow ourselves for those minutes to engage in a meditation that we can do at work. Of course, we don't have to do something very complex, but we can find ways that are very easily applicable even in a work environment. Listening to nature sounds is very relaxant and helps us connect with ourselves and with the nature. And we can have a small playlist at hand that we can listen for a couple of minutes or 5 minutes. Obviously, it is very important and efficient to do a bit of a movement, to walk in a room or walk in an office, wherever you are, to stretch or to do mild physical exercises. Yeah, you don't have to run to the gym during your work time and to commute to that and to change your clothes and to run for an hour, or to be disappointed or sad that you are not able to do that. You don't have to have this kind of objectives, but you might do a bit of a stretching. Yeah, you might do a bit, 2 walks in a room. You can have a conference call where video is not necessary, wearing your headphones and walking in the house. Very relevant and efficient was found when you read something for your own pleasure. Yeah, because perhaps a lot of the time we read for delivering something. We read for a presentation, for a report, for others in general, but or for ourselves, but with the pressure of being very well informed. Yeah, so and this is nice. Obviously, it's related to our personal competence. But if we do only that and we do not allow time for having cognitive activities that are not pressure or are not related to achievement, but for our own pleasure, we might miss some of the recovery strategies. And also what it helps is to engage in meaningful contact with someone, to offer help or to discuss common interests and hobbies. What do you find most interesting or easily applicable from this very short list?
Hi, hello. Maybe I will tell something because nobody wants to start. Thank you for your presentation, Coralia. It's really great and fantastic. In my case, I really benefit from meditations. I really like it and I use them quite a lot, but it's difficult for me to use them in the during the work. But maybe somehow I will try to do it for a moment. But I also like to have time only, do something only for me. So reading things that are not necessary, I would say. So not necessarily developing in any meaning. So that's also very helpful. And listen to the nature. But I also like listen to the music that is relaxation one.
Yes, this helps as well.
Solfege, how it's solfege? I don't remember exactly how it's called.
In Romania is solfege, so
solfege,
similar, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know in English, but
and
yes.
That helped me a lot, I must say, when I had a lot of work to do or I had to concentrate and I didn't have any power to write something difficult like reports or any application. So this sounds really helped me to survive, in fact.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was really almost physical experience to do it. So yes. So thank you for this for the suggestion. They are really good one.
Thank you for saying that, Agnieszka, and I'm very happy that it helps, and there is more to come, and hopefully that when having more options, this encourages us to actually do them. Oh, there is a chat. Okay, sorry, I didn't see it, so I'm not sure if.
In a moment, yeah, I write. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and also stretching, stepping away from the computer, very important and very simple. Yeah, very simple. We just have to do it. It's it's just that. So a bit of a bad news: browsing your smartphone during the break is almost as not taking a break. So Sorry about that. We all do it openly or secretly, but we can, of course, we can still do it. We will inevitably do this, but not as a break. Yeah, not it will not matter. If we want to reach for our phone to be informed or to do something with it, of course we will do it, but it's something different. And this is a very small idea, not idea, but exercise about breathing, something that you can do. I will just play it. It's less than a minute. Yeah, you can have this very short videos at hand in your browser. You can do it while you are in a Zoom meeting with someone, and you just need a second to reconnect as gazing at the window as well. So it's when you integrate it in your way of feeling at work, it will come a habit in an easy way. This is a very nice app, and I will invite you to open it just for a second. Window swap, Patricia discovered, and I was very happy to see it, because it's if we don't like your window, or you like it but you're tired and you want to see a beach, or you want to see a dog, or you want to see people crossing the street, you just put it here, and you just click it, and you can see um, it's like you are in different houses for in 5 or 10 minutes, as long as you like. If you just open it for a minute just for fun, I'm sure it will bring you a bit of joy. Okay, you can play with it again. Put it in a browser, or in a bookmark, or in a post-it in your on your desktop to have it at hand when you feel like it. And then we go back to the Mentimeter, to the next question, to see. Okay, if I miss something from your chat, please announce me, because I'm not sure I notice every time, but it's nice to to know that it's fun to look at the window swap. Good. So the next question. So now that we know, what small decks would you like to try during your work day? So we will learn from Agnieszka about meditation, about music, solfeggio, frequency. Yes. What else would you like to try? For example, today after the webinar, what micro break would you like to take for charging yourself for the next part of the day? Mm-hmm. First of all, what is important is intention, to form my intention, and then comes the behavior. It's really important to plan my behavior. To walk in the street, to step outside, to breathe mindfully as much as I like, to stretch, fun reading for 5 minutes, listen to music, very nice. And it always helps to have this at hand. So to take at some point time to prepare, in order when you feel like taking a break, not then to start 20 minutes on YouTube, what would you like? Yeah, and then miss the break because you spent too much time in searching. We'll do this. Prepare your materials when it's possible. Have them at hand. This is very important. Access is easy access helps a lot. Yeah. Mhm. Okay, great. Chat with a colleague. Okay. Great. Solfeggio, stretching, breathing, walking the street. Okay. So what is also important to know is to take those breaks when you feel the need to. They do not have to be scheduled breaks. It's not the time that at every hour you need to step out of your chair. It's not this type of ergonomic break. It's when you feel like it. Sometimes you need this type of break, one in 3 hours. Sometimes you need to take 2 breaks in an hour. So it's very important to notice your level of energy. And as we just seen, it's not about time. We can do it in 30 seconds, in 1 minute. You can do a breathing exercise in less than 1 minute. So it's not about, nothing is stealing from your work, so to say. On the contrary, it helps you be more balanced and joyful at work. It seems that it's best to do it in the morning, so not wait the 2 p.m. o'clock for the first micro break. Yeah, so to try to build your way into it as the day goes by. Do something that brings you joy. If you do not like stretching, don't start with that. If you do not running, or if you so it's very important to do, because you have a lot of ideas that work. It's not, oh, you do stretching or no micro break at all. No, you have at least 10 ideas that we discussed that you can do. Try something that is nice, that is accessible, and that is helpful. And of course, if you can, prioritize what is focused on nature and physical activities. Yeah. These are good to remember. Um, if you have to, sometimes just 30 seconds, as I said, even in the meeting, look at your dog. Look at outside. Look at the photograph that you like. Yeah, even those breaks work. Of course, do not take a 30-second break once in 3 weeks, because this will not work. So try to do it as often as possible. Of course, again, no news here. Eat well. Sometimes when we are stressed, unfortunately, we tend to eat more, because it feels that we need more energy to do this, but the connection doesn't work that way. We do not consume everything that we eat, so then we get in a state where we accumulate too much fat, or too much substances that we do not really need. So it really is important to eat well and to allocate time to do this, not just the nutrients that are important, but also to eat it quietly, mindfully, in a way that it's not I'm not finding the word, in a way that it is away from the computer or from other stimuli. Yeah, don't work when you eat. So this is very important. If you can go outside, if you are in an office and you can go outside, do it. It will work beautifully. Also, if you don't like running, if you don't like sport, or if you like, but it's not, you cannot do it in this moment, you can try 10 minutes of brisk walking. So walk a bit energetically. You can do this while you do shopping or while you walk your dog, or it's something very handy. And even if you didn't do sport for a long time, this is really at hand. And if you do it regularly, again, helps you physically and psychologically. And also mindful walking. Look at the bird, look at the drop of rain, look at the new flowers that step in. Not all the time, not every time, but when you can, do it. It really helps. Are you looking forward for the holidays? I'm sure you do. I'm looking now. We listen to Romanian and to the government messages that announce the 1st of June as a day where everything will break free, as our colleague from Spain said, Christian, which is a bit of a very dangerous message. A message, I will say, because of course it raises hope and wants us to look for better days. Although we are not in lockdown, we can still walk and travel a bit. So we need to wear masks outside, but we still have a bit of a freedom. So we are not really locked in our houses, so we can enjoy quality time even now. But the point is that I don't think that this kind of messages where they invite you to, okay, now it's bad. You have to be strong and you have to retain yourself. But on a certain date, you can go and do whatever you want, because this is not the idea. This is one of the most dangerous things that we can do. So the messages, even at the population level, should be try to find your well-being every day as the situation goes. Sometimes is worse, sometimes is very difficult, sometimes because the situation fluctuates. We don't have certainty, unfortunately, and we cannot wait for the certainty and for global health to come in order for ourselves to feel well. I'm waking up today, I need to take care of my child, I need to take care of my work, I need to be energetic for the webinar, the outside is raining. So this is the situation. So what can I do to feel well today in this situation? So this is the message that I think should be better articulated, instead of putting the perspective on now you restrain, you don't do anything, you just, things go by mindlessly, and then on a certain date everything will be fine. This is not realistic and not efficient. Besides that, of course, even in normal times, we want a longer period of time where we detach, where we recuperate in a more systematic way, besides few minutes a day. So of course it's very important to have holidays, very enjoyable. What we need to know, though, is when we look at the research, we find some news that it's not very pleasant, so to say, that the effects of the vacation fade away in about 2 or 4 weeks after we return home. So this is, of course, this is just a reminder to understand that we cannot hope too much from a vacation, not in the sense of recharging ourselves for the rest of the year, as sometimes we discussed. It's we recharge ourselves for a certain period of time. And also, there is more to that. Not any vacation helps. It is important to do something pleasant that you really like, which sometimes is a bit difficult when you go with family or friends who have different opinions. We have people wanting to have 10 museums in a day, and what we would like to do is just to sit and read a book and sip for a coffee for 2 hours. So when we are not aligned with every people, or we do not find the right tone, because of course we need to compromise, otherwise we would just go alone in a vacation. But if we are not mindful about that, and we do what other people want, or what we think we should do, yeah, you go to Athens, you have to visit, or you go in a certain capital, you have to visit certain museums, or whatever. But this is it doesn't matter at all. Uh, what is good to have, or that, oh, people will ask you about this museum, or about this pyramid, or whatever. But this is not important. It's important what you want, and what is pleasant for you, not what you have to do or what other people want. That this why it is important uh, to negotiate with your fellows, and to be very clear what would you like to do in a vacation. What it matters also is to engage in physical activities. It doesn't matter, you don't have to play football every time you're in a vacation, but it matters for you to walk, and to do a bit of a physical movement. And obviously the absence of negative incidents during vacation. If you fight with your spouse or with your child for 2 weeks, or you negotiate how much time to spend at the beach, then you will not have those two two effects afterwards. So there is a catch with recovery during vacation. But we have some tips here. So to say, it is good to plan vacation, more vacation throughout the year. Smaller, of course, we cannot have 2 or 3 weeks once in a couple of months, but perhaps nice weekends, or brief periods of times are something that we can do to prepare well before going on vacation, from medical documentations, or whatever is needed, to consensus with the travelers about the activities, what I said before. Engage in pleasant activities, not something else. And also important is, after you come back, to prevent high work demands immediately afterwards. Don't start with the most difficult task that you have to do at work. Take it slowly, and also share your experience with others. Yeah, you sharing your vacation experiences helps you be in contact with the nice feelings that you had, and helps prolong it a bit better. So moving forward to the work life and personal life, we see that we see some numbers, and we see that in 2009. Below 6% of the active population in Europe worked from home, whereas in 2020, about 50% of the active population worked from home. Moreover, 78 from the survey responded, so a lot, said that they would like to continue working from home even when it will be safe to return at work, which is something that organizations need to integrate and need to prepare themselves even after the pandemic is over. Because if we do not consider this, then we might miss some important adjustments that organizations need to make. So another big picture, looking at the work-life balance, we see that the persons with children between 0 and 11 years, so people who basically need care, and they are not really independent, worry a lot about not working, or they are tired to do household work, or they feel that jobs prevent giving time to your family, also for females and males as well. So persons with small children are and were really affected, especially when the kindergarten and the schools were closed. It was very difficult, and the stress accumulated will not go away just by a weekend of sleep or something like that, because stress can really get in your cell physically. Also we see that when a mother, for example, if we look at this blue bar, worries about work when not working, we understand that the recovery process is very much impaired. Yeah, so even when not working, if your mind is on that, this means that only adds to stress. um, and also people with children see that they're very hard for them to concentrate on job because of family. We see how much difference is here at the lower part of the graph. So this helps us be, first of all, if we are in that situation, to really to feel, first of all, compassionate about ourselves, and be aware that we're doing the best that we can, that is physically and humanly possible in this time, and to grab those minutes to recuperate and to take care of ourselves when we can, because we do not have evenings, or we do not have in the afternoon you need to do chores, or you need to do activities with your children, so you don't have very fruitful afternoon, so to say. So taking care is really a challenge. And also, if we have colleagues in this situation, to focus on support and on helping them build resilience, and help them find ways through these difficult times. Because when you care about other people, this helps you as well for your well-being. So it helps you when you want to feel well and to take care of your well-being. It matters those things that we discussed about, doing breaks and taking care of yourself. This is the part that helps you at the very essential level. But what helps you with your well-being is when you do things that are meaningful, when you do things that are relevant for your values. So helping people and offer them empathy, it are really related to our value part. So, well, of course, for each of us, there are things that work well. Is that we spend more time with the family and less time in traffic. At the same time, we have unclear. Yeah, thank you, Paula, for your comment. Yes, and the comment below, it put more strain on your holidays to be perfect. Yeah, exactly. Very, very nice comments. And very realistic. We have unclear work-family boundaries. We have frequent interruptions. We all know how hard it is, even in real time, in normal times, how to work when you are interrupted. We feel isolated, and we have limited coping strategies. All of them are related to the stress experience. So how can we have a better balance, or as I said before, a better work-family cycle? Do you know what fake commute is? No? Okay. Fake commute is not a real commute, so to say. It means that one of the recovery activities that we can do in when we actually go to work is that we take time on when we are driving our car, or when we are walking, or driving our bicycle, riding our bicycle, and so on. To when you go to work, you take this time to prepare, to think of the day ahead. And when you come back, you take this time to detach, to separate, and to start thinking about what you're going to cook for dinner, or what activities are you going to do with the children. But what can you do when this commute time doesn't exist anymore, or sometimes when perhaps at the beginning of the pandemics, it was fun and easy to still wear your pajamas, your pajama pants while working, because you didn't feel like dressing up for work. But after a time, this becomes not so pleasant anymore when you see in the same lousy clothes all day, or you feel that you didn't put makeup, or didn't brush your hair. You don't feel that well about yourself. But this is not about beauty. This was not the point that I really wanted to make, but the fact that having a fake commute, which means, okay, I do not have to go to the university to hold this webinar. So I don't have a reason to step out of the house, but dressing and stepping out, getting some fresh air and making a walk helps me mentally draw a line between the house and the house, because my house is the way where I'm with my family, but also my office. So I cannot do it otherwise. So then I will go and come back, and in this walk I can walk my dog, or I can walk myself, or whatever I like. I prepare myself mentally while doing a bit of a movement. I can do it for 10 minutes or for half an hour or whatever I like. The idea is to separate mentally the two places. Also, I can put this, I can emphasize this boundary by changing clothes. Whenever I put myself to work, I change my clothes, and when I'm done, when I'm shutting out the computer, I change in the clothes. How can I say it? Home clothes. Yeah. Even if, of course, nobody stops me to to stay in the pajamas at the computer. The idea is to have to create boundaries. Boundaries are very important, especially in this context. To organize your workshop, workspace. Only do work here. Yeah, do not do anything else here. Make it look as office like as possible, and if you have the possibility to separate it from the rest of your house, or at least to hide it in a way, this will help. And what is perhaps the most difficult, to organize your schedule, to clearly have defined work hours. Sometimes we find it difficult to, for example, when you have one Zoom meeting after another, you might find difficult to go for a walk, or even to do something that allows you a bit more to unwind. But what you can do is to do a bit of an exercise to focus yourself when you do not have much time. Listen here. Yeah. Very simple, very easy. Count backwards. It takes a couple of minutes literally. Yeah. Just just be and focus on the numbers and ground yourself. Yeah. Well, in the last part, we will discuss even more strategies which are rather focused on our cognitive or self-management part, so to say. So what we see here, sorry. First of all, is very, very important to clear our minds. This is, of course, more difficult to do than to say it. This means to schedule 20 or 30 minutes per day, or whenever you can, if you cannot do it daily, just to put on the paper what concerns you in every field that you have: family, work, whatever. Yeah, just don't let them bother you in the back of your mind. Put them, it's like that person cleaning the chimney, or like using, imagine you use a broom. Just put them in one place. This helps you organize your disorganized thoughts. Yeah, just put it there, and then you might choose what to do with them, to organize them into do, in progress, done. Or but in order to organize, you need to know everything that concerns you, yeah, from paying the bill to buying something for the cat, or from finishing a very important report, yeah. So all these ideas help us, from yoga to keeping a journal, to organize your bag, or to move, or to dance for a couple of minutes, help us do this mind sweep, yeah, to when you take the things out of your head and you put them on the paper. This really helps. If we want to do a bit of if we think as our well-being in a more complex way, we think also about job crafting. This means, how do I increase my resources at work, and how can I lower my stressor? Of course, lowering stressors is sometimes more difficult to do than increasing resources. So what might help is to learn new things, and this also can be combined with a micro break, or with my idea of being in contact with growing myself and learning new things. Or I can place myself in, or I can volunteer in interesting projects where I can use my skill, or when I can learn, or when I can simply be in the company of people I appreciate. Yeah, because this is resourceful, where I can learn, where I can feel better, when I can have free conflict communication. And also I can organize better my activities. And this is a very simple task, very simple strategy, which is called Pomodoro, because it is about having a timer at hand, and this is a classical Pomodoro clock used in the 50s in the kitchen to see how well the chicken is baked in a certain amount of time. But besides the metaphor, you use it for dividing your tasks in 20 minutes parts. So when you do this, and when you have breaks between them, you are more efficient in working at your task. And this also invites you to analyze before how long a task will it take. So this task, this report, does it take 2 hours or 1 hour? Okay, then I will split it like this, and I will organize myself in a way to be focused for those 25 minutes. So it's a very simple technique, and as I emphasized before, it invites me to appreciate the length of the task, the time that a certain task will take, instead of just jumping and doing that task. So what will really help is to find a morning and an evening ritual that brings you joy and facilitates the flow. For example, for me, was really useful when my kid, my 4-year-old daughter, started to go to the kindergarten again. This helped me do a bit of more movement, because I like to do sport. I'm not sport person in the real sense of the word, but I like to do movement, and I missed it a lot during this period, and it was very difficult to find extra time for my sport activities. And what I do after I drop her to the kindergarten, because we walk there, then I run towards my house, and I put 10 minutes of running, and I have my Fitbit here, so I don't have I do not establish for myself to run for an hour, or to do something that it will be physically impossible at this point. But not only that, I do something that I really like and I really enjoy, but I also associate it with the habit that already exists. So this helps me do it in a better way if I would have scheduled it or not associated with something that I already do. Very important is to arrange for uninterrupted focus time. So when we do not check our phone, we do not check our email, we just do what we need to do. It doesn't have to be hours, but it can be a half an hour or those 25 minutes from the Pomodoro technique, where I just do what I need to do to reduce distractions, and to focus on small goals and small wins. Yeah, running for 10 minutes, it is perhaps a small, it's not running an hour like other people, but it is something small. It is something, but it is a win. It is something that helps me not feeling better physically, but helps me understand that I really accomplished something that is valuable. I really had a win today already, even before starting this webinar. So what also helps is to be grateful, to see what is positive, and these are really techniques that were tested several times, that really focus on the idea that when you experience gratitude, your well-being increases. It's that simple. So So what went well for you today already by this time?
I do a bit of yoga in the morning before I start work, and I really like that.
Excellent.
Well, I managed to catch the tramway. It was such a success. Really.
Yeah. Great. And again, this is an easy practice when you reflect at any point of the day, or you can do it with your family as well, or you can do it with yourself. And this is an exercise that you will have with you if you like, because as I said, even at the beginning of the presentation, things really work if they are transformed in a habit. And a habit needs to be, you call something a habit if it happens for 2 minutes a day. So if you do yoga for 2 minutes, that's perfect. If you run for 2 minutes, then this is great, but do it constantly and do something that you like. Don't start with something that is dreadful, because it will not become a habit. Do something that is attractive. We have options. This is amazing. Even in this discussion, we have so much things. It is impossible not to like something or not to be tempted to try even after the discussion is over. What helps is, as I said before, also in my example, associate with a habit. Yeah, if you like to do yoga, if you can do it before or while your coffee is making, or while your coffee is grounding, do it like that, or associate with something that already is in place, because it helps you do it more easily. And very, very important, before you bring your habit to perfection, as we all want, give it time to form. This is very important. Let it be. Do it. Run for 2 minutes. Do yoga for 2 minutes. Eventually, you will reach for 30 minutes or whatever is uh, uh, right for you in the biggest way. But just do it. Give it the chance to form. So what I would like us to pinpoint before our 1 minute feedback, because it's already by the end of the webinar, is first of all to encourage you to take away these messages. Pay attention to the signs of stress, and even the smallest signs. Get serious about sleep. Yeah, this you cannot replace. This is simple as that. Exercise regularly, even if you like to stretch, to run, or brisk walk while you do shopping. You can do this. You don't have to schedule different time for that. Eat better, breathe. You can breathe mindfully, very, very easily. Focus on the resources that matter the most for you and choose that, nourish that. Do movement, do it regularly. Commute, fake or not, depends on your working situation, but encourage healthy boundaries between domains, and build habits, and importantly, organize your work, search for opportunities to grow and to look for joy. So before we end, I would invite you again to go to the Mentimeter and to share your thoughts about today's webinar, and also any particular comments that you would like to share on chat or qualitative aspects will be very much welcomed. I'm not sure. Oh, I see 15 participants, but yeah. 2 of them are me and Patricia, so 13. We have 10 answers. Very happy that it was useful, at least in some proportion, for most of you. And thank you very much, Agnieszka, and I hope the next one will be as well useful, because it I was aiming for that, to be useful and to deliver information that is based on science, and I'm glad that at least some of that was relevant for you.
Can I just say it, because it's just not easy to write it down, but really
Please.
Thank you very much for this session. Actually, I must say I was a bit I thought I like when something is based on science, so I really liked it. And I would recommend this workshop or this webinar to all of my family and my friends, because you can really realize what's happening to us at this moment. And actually, I identified this languishing thanks to you, because for the last several weeks, I was feeling exactly as it said. And I on one hand, you think that everything is fine, but on the other, something is wrong, and you don't know that it really can be somehow dangerous, and you really should also react on such state in your life. So really, thank you very much, Coralia, and I'm looking forward to the next session.
Thank you very much as well. And looking forward to see you next time. We will end here in order to keep the time and to keep your schedule. And see you soon. Be healthy and enjoy yourselves and your family and your colleagues. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.